surprise shone light from distant northern skies. At that point, I realized I don't know where it comes from, but I know it's okay. This is all an illusion, and I'm willing to play.
Welcome to the Quantum Guide Show, interviews with awakened masters as they share their quantum work with you. The Quantum Guide Show is produced by Karen Holton, creator of the 9 Steps to Quantum Health Transformation, a free 9-step online course to give you the tips and resources you need to thrive. Karen lost and continues to keep off 178 pounds of surplus body weight as she made her dreams come true. Whether you are awakening to the ascension process or simply want a wiser, more efficient lifestyle, this program is for you. No strings attached. The Quantum Guide Show is brought to you in part by Zendome's Orgonite, Karen's unique brand of orgone generators, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. Find out how orgone generators work and what they can do for you. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out Karen's current selection, only available from her website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Quantum Health Transformation. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Quantum Guide Show. Today in episode 59, I'm very happy to introduce you to my special guest and friend, Trevor Ilesley. Trevor is a teacher, messenger, master healer, and philosopher. About 20 years ago, a synchronistic event connected him deeply within his heart, and he discovered the message that he has come to share with the world. Trevor has appeared on many TV shows demonstrating his teachings and words of spiritual wisdom that had never before been written. He has helped thousands of people to reconnect to their soul's journey to find true love as he assists humanity in the transition from bad mind Earth into beautiful mind Earth. Trevor is here to change the perception of reality as he brings to Earth another vision of who we are, called Bemism. He is here to inspire and teach others to maintain their frequencies themselves, but not to do it for them. His job is to bring you closer to your own personal inner soulful presence. Awaken the true I, the real you. Bemi philosophy will help you to find the true self, feel the true self, and be the true self as you awaken your inner calling. Trevor will fast track you to know yourself and to be the light of your soul, to help guide your soul out of the darkness that has been hidden by the layers of emotions that have kept you trapped in a prison without walls. Trevor will inspire you to value yourself and your journey, to undertake the achievement of your desired goal to love who you are here in this realm. While you are separated from the source, you will lose your divine power. Trevor fills that void of separation, guiding you to become whole once again, so that you may understand that you are important and that your life has real meaning and purpose on a soul level. Welcome, Trevor. How are you doing today?
Wow, I'm doing absolutely brilliant amongst all the rubbish that's going on with our world at the moment. But I think I'm glad to say this is another reason why Bemism and finding the true self has become so important, because we're actually living in a world of fear. And so therefore, for me at the moment, I'm working with the ideas of understanding this. The world was awakening. Everyone was waiting for 2012, when all of a sudden we was going to see this different realm. And over the years, I've seen an increase of people from all over the world people that are awakening to their own truths or their own gifts of healing. And so therefore we was adapting the identity spiritual, not religious. And as time has gone on, we have grown in the numbers, including yourself, me, and many others, have been joining forces. And that was given to us from a calling that was transmitted to us. And it was a certain amount of people that was going to feel that calling. And then that was then going to activate the DNA. And so therefore we would grow into the true self I. But when I look at the way the world is at this moment, that darkness, that 5 sense realm that we've all gotten to believe in is stopping the awakening. And so therefore, as we was evolving as beings, as we was growing in consciousness within ourselves, fears stepped in, the dark souls have stepped in, they know we're awakening. Why would they be stopping the awakening? Is because the slaves are discovering freedom. And that truly is Bemism. And Bemism is all about freedom.
Oh, fantastic. So well said. I'm wondering for the viewers who are new to you, or I should say you're new to them, would you like to get into a little bit of your backstory? How did this all start for you, Trevor?
Okay, well, I'll keep that as short as possible. When you listen to what you've just read out in the introduction of who I am, let me break this down simply. That wasn't who I was. My first part of my life and all of my life, and I was willing to take that to the end of my days, was to be in the fashion industry. So therefore I was a hairdresser, makeup artist and photographer. It was a business I loved. Beautiful people doing creative things, magazines, catwalks, TV, the whole thing. Got married, had children, got grandchildren, got great-grandchildren. So technically, just a basic man doing basic man things in life, how we're supposed to do it. Then, one night, everything was great. Business was good. Girlfriend was great. Money was good. Everything was perfect. Couldn't be better. I went to bed Monday night, and in the night, I had this dream. And, you know, it was one of them dreams where you think you've woken up from the dream, but you actually haven't woken up from the dream. You're still in the dream. And so therefore, I remember being asleep, but I could see this light. I could feel the light on my face. And so therefore, there was this man standing in the bedroom. And he starts talking to me. And I could feel him talking to me. So the first part of the dream was, I woke up. And as I've woke up, this man is there. And then he proceeded to show me a different way of life. And that's when I started to understand quantum physics. Now, I didn't understand quantum physics. I only spoke hairdressing. I sold you shampoo and conditioner, and I made you look good for your wedding. That's it. That's all I done. So this began a series of dreams and visions that started to happen. And that night when I woke up, I looked at myself in the mirror and instantly said, who are you? I felt completely weird. I felt strange. I just didn't feel like me. I felt something was taking me over. So that was the beginning of feeling really, really strange. It was almost an instant depression that came over me, that affected me that much. It threw me into the inner world of confusion because I'd never felt like that before. And so therefore, that began the quest to discover what is this feeling that I'm going through. And of course, we could look at it and say, it's depression. So I can take all the human requirements of what a story looks like: depression, anxiety, can't sleep at night, bad dreams, bad thoughts, even thoughts of committing suicide, which was really strange for me. And then all of a sudden, there was these moments at night where my scissors are transformed into a pen and a paper. And so therefore I was writing, and I was writing all of this amazing stuff. It was just coming from everywhere. I just couldn't believe it. Even I used to read it and think, no way, this is ridiculous. And I'd show me mum, and she'd say, did you write that? I'd say, yeah. She went, wow. I'd show me friends, and they would laugh at me and say, you didn't write that. I'd say, no, honestly. What I didn't know was this truly was the beginning of the awakening. So that anyone that is going through having amazing dreams and visions, they're so important. Anyone that's even going through depression and really fearing something of a presence around them, that is definitely the stages of awakening. And so over a period of years, I started to go and see spiritual people, psychics, medium, clairvoyants. No one seemed to have my answer. And then I ended up going to a spiritual school, one of the big spiritual schools here in London. And they said to me, Trevor, we want you to get up on the stage and show us what you got. Well, I've never been there before. I've never even done that. And I put my hand up and said, I can't do that. They said, what do you mean you can't do that? I said, I can't do that. I don't know how to tune into spirit. And she said to me, you do know you're in a room full of all the top spiritual teacher healers from all around the world, don't you? And I said, no. I said, I'm just here because I'm just here. So she said, anyway, you really shouldn't be on this course. So I thought, right, that's one person that doesn't like me because I'm in the wrong course. So she said to me, get up on the stage and see what you can do. So I remember walking up onto the stage, and I remember saying to myself, you dare show me up now. Don't show me up now. And I had about 60, 65 people in the audience. So I got up on stage and I said this, and it was the most stupidest thing I could have ever said. And I just went to the audience, I'm going to give you all a message from spirit. And I heard people say, oh, this would be interesting. Because I was the hairdresser fashion type, you could tell how I walked into this place, Gucci glasses, Prada, and, looking like a real fashionable hairdresser. So I said, yeah, I'm going to give you all a message. And then all of a sudden, I just went blank. And I knew I was talking, and I knew I was walking up and down the stage. And then after a while, I heard the teacher turn around and say, okay, Trevor, Trevor, come back into, Trevor, and it was very distant. And as I came to, well, the audience was in bits. I thought they'd just got a phone call saying that all of their families just been wiped out or something, because everyone was crying. My teacher was fighting back the tears, and women were consoling men. They was absolutely sobbing their eyes out. And I'm looking at it and thinking, what's gone on? And then all of a sudden, this fella said, you was my son. My son is 6'5". And then a woman said, but you was my daughter, and she's only 5. So basically what was going on is these people were seeing their spirit loved ones talking to them personally. So anyway, I actually got a standing ovation from that, because, to be honest with you, they didn't like me being there. But when that happened, I got a lot of respect. And the school, the teachers, immediately offered me to join and be part of the healing programs. And I said no. So my teacher said, I want to have a word with you. I said, she said, what I've just witnessed, I have never, ever witnessed before. And it's quite emotional, actually. And she said, I knew people like you existed, and I prayed to actually see one. And she said, you've made that happen. So I said, can you help me? And she said, no. She said, there's no one on the planet that can help you. And so that began a story of synchronicities, of strange happenings and experiences that were phenomenal, but at the time, very scary. So that began a lot of experiences. And that's when I knew I was really in trouble, because I was awakening into a being that I had no idea of what I was going to become. And they were saying to me, you're going to write this book that everyone needs to read and hear about. And I was like, no, that's not possible. Never going to happen. And I'm going to be this teacher and all this. And I said, no, definitely. There's no way that's going to happen. And of course it did. And so therefore, what we've got going on through the messaging and audible messages as well, like literally coming through the walls. I remember being in so much pain through emotions of my life, disappointments, and I couldn't take it anymore. I just really was broken. I'd lost all my energy. It seemed like I'd forgot how to cut hair. So all of that disappeared out the window. And so therefore, I just heard this presence. And I remember I was screaming at my ceiling, asking for God, I suppose, to help me out, because I can't live another day. I don't know what to do. I was really, I sobbed, Karen, you know. And all of a sudden I just heard these words just boom out that just said, be me. And I sort of listened again, and I sort of said, and it said it again. So that began the process. And then there was another time when, again, from out of the walls, again, I found myself in that position. I don't know what to do, don't know where I'm going, I don't know who I am. All the most important questions that everyone needs to ask, who am I? Mm-hmm. I said, I don't know where to turn to. And again, this voice says, you have nowhere else to turn to but me. And again, that was a scary moment. So through pen and paper, I connected in with my soul. So I basically wrote a letter to my soul, looking for answers, hoping that whoever I am or whatever's going on, then maybe my soul or spirit or even God can help me to get through this. And so that was the basis of a story, which leads me to the point when I turn around and tell the world, we are definitely not human beings. And the be me being that's come into play, wow, if you ask me what the benefits were, they completely outweigh the best benefits I ever thought that fashion and beauty was all about. So this became a completely different story. So what I'm saying to the world is, you're not who you think you are.
That's wonderful. That's just so wonderful. So just to clarify for the viewers, so this presence, can you tell us again who this presence is and how specifically did it help you in your life?
Right. This presence, there was many presences at many different times. And this is what people got to be very careful in that awakening process, especially in the depression process, which I call the dark night of the soul. That's not something that I've created, but the dark night of the soul is a place when it's almost like your essence of who you are is being emptied. So the cup is being emptied and the cup is going to be filled. In that transition, because I'm so into the spirit world now, that exists more real for me than anything. But in that place, and maybe your people have experienced this, they feel like that's where the takeover is. So when the soul is emptying the program of the human being, other energies will try to infiltrate your body, mind, and energy. And I had a lot of trouble with that. So that became the dark night of the soul. It was a battle for my soul. Going through the process, through the code of going through the code, a name appeared, which became Ember Key. Ember Key, the fire key. And Ember Key is a truth because it is one word that explains all of Bemism. It explains all of the human life. It explains all of the dark night of the soul. And it also explains about being a spirit yourself when you leave here. So this messenger that came in somehow chose me to go through a very hard time. And it was very difficult because everything about me had to disappear. But here's the interesting thing. Anyone that's getting spiritual connections, what's happening is they are being reminded of who they are. So, for instance, if people are getting all this message and data being downloaded from whatever planet, wherever the information is, whatever the guide's name is, whatever it is, be sure of this. They are reminding you of who you were, not where you're going to, but where you've come from. So the moral of my story is that I know Ember Key. I know the codes. I can even say I know God himself because itself, I come from that energy field. We all do. And so therefore, the human story has completely blocked the soul's journey and the true I, and it's cut off its own divinity, and it cut off its healing abilities. Because there's one thing that is missing from this planet out of all the many skills. I used to say this, where's the healers? Where's the natural born healers, people that can do miracles of healing? And we've been taught through our education that, of course, there was only one man that could do that. Well, I'm here to turn around and say, that's not the only man that can do that, because what I was given and had to experience, because it wasn't about receiving a message and then saying, oh, okay, thank you very much, I'll speak about that. No. Everything that was given to me, I had to experience fully. And that one experience, one part of the code may have taken 5 years until I truly understood the code. And so therefore, what is happening is the depression is the breakdown in that material world. So you heal away from that human programming and it reveals. See, this is the thing. It's not about getting it in or finding it there or going here or learning this or reading that or doing all of these things. When you take on your own personal transformation, and I believe that Bemism is the identity that people need to step into to be able to heal away the human programming that is left you broken, confused, don't know who you are, full of pain, full of illness. So I can turn around and say now, what is the problem with life? And I would say it's one word, and it's called human. Human is the problem to everything we go through. And I can say that now because I've got the identity that I am a beamy being, which says that's the only identity I need. But we live in a world where it is full of identities. And so therefore, we are separated through identities. And a lot of spiritual religions out there, there's no equality of what I'm seeing between man and woman. There's a lot of spiritual religions out there. There is a difference there that's going on. Bemism, if you could call it a religion, it's a self-religion. It's not religion that's going to go out there. It's a self-religion to believe in oneself. Bimi is master. Bimi is mastering my own body, mind, energy. I exist. So that's the power of what Bemism is. So the difference between me and you, there isn't one. Because I see a Bemi. I see a body, I see a mind, I see energy, I see experience. You are a Bemi being. Because everything you've done, said, thought about, got, experienced, only consisted of 3 components: body, mind, and energy. So what happens is this: the mind has been corrupted by the human programming. It is designed to make you have self-doubt and even self-hate. The idea behind healing is to find self-love. And then when you do understand the word of self-love, the word gets taken away and love transforms into naturalness. So Bemism is the soul's religion because it helps people to remember that this is all soul-led, not human-led. And that's why we have people who don't understand their own relationship, let's call it that, their own relationship between their body, the mind, and their experiences. The greatest word on the planet and being me is a relationship. So I discovered through my own soul that we, all of us, came here to have a relationship with life, and the soul was given 2 jobs: love self, love life. That's it. That's all we needed to do. But when you look at the human programming, it's not built to love life, love self. It's not educated. And this is why the awakeners are here, because the levels of consciousness have changed to the ones that's operating in the 5 sense realm that is keeping you trapped in fear and as a slave.
Well, that's certainly never been more apparent than it is today in what's going on with the world. And I think you're absolutely right on, because the one of the positive things that is happening is people are basically hitting bottom with depression and anxiety, fear, all those things. And for me, that was a very important part. That's what you referred to as the emptying out of the old self to make room for the new self. And so what the positive thing that's happening is we're realizing everything we've been taught is basically a lie, or even worse, an inversion of truth. And now we're going to discard the programming. And it's a bit scary because we're going, oh, well, what do we do now? Well, people like yourself are there to help us to find what to do now. But I wondered if you could just get a little bit more into Bemism and how this can help people with their health, because that's a huge concern today, Trevor.
Through these teachings, I developed my own system. When people get the calling for spirituality, they can only go and find what's already available. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult to learn, let's say, Buddhism or Hinduism or whatever spiritual practice you want to learn. It takes years. It could take a lifetime. I wanted something that worked for me. I didn't have time to go and learn all these different languages. And as you know, if it's from an Eastern philosophy, I can't even pronounce the words of what any of it means. It made no sense to me in the West. So Bemism I'm really proud of because it simplifies everything in a beamy form. So let me show you, because firstly, what was the benefits of it? You know, I've had this conversation with many of my friends because they expect me, or they expect success like how I used to have it. Look great, you know, have a lovely car, nice place to live, you know, that's how they see success.
Mm-hmm.
But the true success for me was actually still being alive. Because in that dark night of the soul, you really do want to take your life because you can't take it any longer. Even depression can make you feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this kept me alive. So it's a lifesaver. So I'm going to show you a little signpost because I believe it's the right signpost. Hopefully it pick it up on the screen a little bit here. But when you understand the body, mind, energy, what is the biggest offender? Well, it's the mind, isn't it? The mind will always say, you're useless, you're no good. What did you do that for? Oh, you're the blame. You started it. And then you can go into a process of really hating yourself. So it's true what spiritual teachers talk about. It's about balancing the mind, or trying to understand what the mind is saying. So let me try a simple experiment with everyone. And here's the biggest thing with people is they can't shut the mind off. It doesn't shut up. It just keeps on and it keeps on and on and on. It's in the past, it's in the present, it's in the future, it's inside, it's over there, it's all over the place. And that is where people lose energy. That's called leaking. You're leaking. Your aura is leaking because you're all over the place. After 10 years of understanding what this actually meant, I give it a real simple answer, and it says this: become mindfully empty. Be me. When you've got a mind that is driving you absolutely crazy, whether you're trying to sleep, or whether you're stuck in traffic, or you're having an argument, or you can't let anything go, say to yourself quietly, internally, balance mind, emotions, become mindfully empty. And as soon as you start reciting, become mindfully empty, no other words can get in. So you go into, why does that work? It's because for the very first time, you've just given yourself a command, and you have just given that command to your intelligence. And this is where healing begins, see, because BB teaches you to get in connection with your immune system, your DNA system, and then it works on body, mind, and energy. And so therefore, healing the mind by making it believe it's empty allows the true self to start poking its head through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens. So that becomes a practice. Become mindfully empty. Become mindfully empty. I can't think of anything else while I'm saying become mindfully empty. Do that even when you're sleeping or going to go to sleep. So it's things like that. So I could say, if I'm having a very emotional time, let's say with a relationship, and we've all been there, you're angry, you're frustrated, you want to punch the walls in and punch somebody. Balance my emotions. Balance my emotions. Now, we all know emotions sit right there in this stomach. 2 and 3rd chakra point. That's where all discomfort is. That's where illness sits. Because when we carry anger, that's where it's stored. Somebody presses that button, out comes that anger. And trust me, my first part of my life, I had a very good demonic anger that was awful. That's what I needed to kill off. So balance my emotions. Again, I'm telling the body, I'm telling this instrument to balance my emotions. Breathe in, breathe out, balance my emotions. Breathe in, breathe out, balance my emotions. And you can feel the body, because what's happening is you're now starting to change the chemical reactions between anger and balancing your emotion. And the body says, wow, what's happening? Did he just say balance his emotions? Okay, we better get on with it. Now, there's a whole series of that happens. So here's the signpost. If we can just simply see that. It's just a signpost. And as you can see, BMEM. How this is represented, it doesn't matter where I go in the world. I'm one of these. I'm always a be me. But here's the thing. This is lower self be me. So I could have bad mind energy. So if I have bad mind energy, something's really getting to me, something's upset me, something's making me angry and frustrated. My goal of the soul is to achieve a beautiful mind energy. You're working in opposites. So I could say battling my emotions. Higher self will say balance my emotions. Lower self of the body, higher self of the body. So you then work on this chakra system. Very humorous. That's me on the ladder cleaning Buddha's chakras. Okay? Because there is a simple way to all of this. So I'm going to give it to your listeners. So chakra number 1, what is the problem? It's all about the ego, because that's when you very first came into the world, right? People associate that with red, all right? So these are all about the beamy energy centers. So everything that's happened to you, body, mind, and emotions, is all happening in there. So battling my ego, there's the pain. What's the opposite? Balancing my ego. So something can happen on the outside. Somebody says something to you, affects your ego. You go into a temper or an anger or a rage or whatever it is that you do. It's because somebody's touched that ego that started off from the very moment you was born. Now, let me stress what ego means. It's not a splinter of something. Ego, which is a strange word, but it's used, is all of the human. It's all of it. So then you've got second chakra, balance my emotions. There's a lot of discomfort there. There's a lot of illness there. A lot of upset goes in there. A lot of people die from chakra 2, too much pressure from the world. Mm-hmm. Chakra 3, the third chakra, the hardest one, it seems, because it's all about trust. Mm. Trust. And this comes in, balance my experience. So if you've got trust levels, you would go into your breathing and you would balance my experience. Balance my experience. You can feel it. You will feel an instant quietness in being and balancing my experience, because what's going on, this is your experience, but we do a lot of fighting because we don't want this experience. But on a soul's level, the experience is really important. Then we come up into the fourth chakra, again, a very difficult one. Now, fourth, I'm going to leave that alone for the moment. And I'm going to jump to the fifth, be my expression. Be my expression, BME, be my expression. What's the problem with a lot of human beings? They have trouble expressing their being. And that's been stopped again as a child when you was told to shut up, don't speak, whatever. So anyone out there that's got something to say, you got to get through that fifth chakra point, which is be my expression. You've got to break through that. Then I said with the sixth, we've already done that, which is become mindfully empty. But also what takes over that on the seventh is to become mindfully enlightened. So when you get enlightenment, so you can have a journey that's starting to be quite enlightening. So what does it mean when you reach a seventh series of enlightenment? Is that you go back and you look at your story, and what you once saw as conflict, pain and depression and upset, you see the enlightenment in the story. And so all of this works. Trust me, I know it works because I went from A to B. And this is what I call the body-mind energy ladder of truth. So you're climbing not because of an invisible snake or there's a fiery wheel that's going around and around inside. It's a ladder. And when you start to understand the Beamy teachings, you know there's an internal ladder. So some days you're up the top of the ladder. Some days you're on the bottom rung of the ladder. And we all want to be up the top. But here's the thing. Let's come back down to the fourth chakra. This is the heartist, Heartist way, the heartist. And the heartist knows 4, 5, and 6 and 7 chakra. It also knows 1, 2, 3. So therefore, it's worked out its human story. It comes up here, receives the information from the higher levels of chakras, which then filter down. You then come in. So when you hear me say, balance everything, what you're doing is you're balancing the higher self up with the lower self until it comes one and nothing. And in that place, you find the artist. And here's the mantra for that. It's breathe my essence.
Mm.
And in that place is where you just love everything that's gone on. When I grew up hating my parents and I went to bed with hate. I wasn't shown love. I didn't understand what love was. And of course, it played out through my story as a being that didn't come from any love. So here's the question that everyone needs to ask. When you're in love with something or someone, it feels great. But when you are not in love with something or someone, it's disastrous. So you have to ask yourself, why? Who's the two people then? Why is this one that's in love so wonderful? And why is this one that's not in love so disastrous that you want to take your own life and life is ended and it's finished? I thought, I don't want to be two people. And that's what the chakra in the Bemism way is all about. I don't want to be two people. I don't want to wait for a relationship so that they can love me and I can love them. Because if that relationship breaks up, I'm on the floor again. I'm in the duvet again. I'm depressed. I'm crying. And I want somebody to help me. That's what we do. But this structure is in everyone. Bemism is in everyone. The code of Mbeki is in every soul. And what this awakening is all about is getting rid of the human programming that has done nothing but give you aggravation. And you know why it's done that? Because I believe that every soul must be saying, surely there's more to life than this. And then we're all taught that, don't worry, when you leave here, you're going to a better place. Now, here's my big question with that. I want this to be the better place. I don't want to wait until I die to find out whether or not there is a better place. So be me is, it's the balance. It's a note, it's a vibration, it's a frequency. Whereas be me is, I don't know. Be me is agitated, aggravated, emotionally devoid of any feelings. Be me is unloved. Be me is depressed. So you tell yourself this as a be me being. You say to yourself, I'm depressed. So the body says, okay. Yeah, let's follow suit then. See? And being in love and not in love, I had the choice that says, which one do you like? Is it this one or do you like that one? Do you like being in misery or do you just like being on cloud nine? Well, of course, I love being on cloud nine. So then my soul went, well, this is going to be a long journey then, so we better knuckle in and start as soon as we possibly can, because what the soul's journey is all about, it wants you to remember who you are. And it wants you to remind you of why you are here. And it wants to remind you that you are a collector of information. And that as a soul, you carry that information just like a postman. And then when you leave here, you go to the post office and you start taking out all of this post that you've collected, that you've been carrying on your back, dragging along the earth plane, and you empty it all out and say, that's what I did with life. And I imagined the spirit looking through it and saying, all right, for that last 10 years, all you did is cry, moan and whinge, and wow, okay, let's have a look at the next chapter. No, you were still crying and whinging and moaning. Right, let's have a look at this one. Oh, okay, right, we've got a relationship. All right, we're showing some love. Anyway, so it was a human story. And I thought, there's not much to say. So I wanted to appreciate me. And that's what I asked Spirit. Help me to appreciate me. Help me to appreciate life. Help me to heal myself. Help me to look at life and say, what a wonderful trip. Bemism gave me that. That was my success. And truly I say to you, I live in the kingdom of God. I'm not waiting to die to go to the kingdom of God, because I know Spirit's going to say to me, I'm going to say to God, where's the kingdom of God then? And he's going to say, well, you just left it. What? But how do I know that to be true? And I do know that to be true, because in my journey of this awakening, I got taken to places. Some I didn't like. Some of it was a bit even way too out there for me. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, I was given that second chance. And Spirit said to me, look, you're going to go back. We've now shown you what you've actually done in your life, and all you've done is gone like that and around a bit. Mm-hmm. You haven't actually gone nowhere. So Spirit said this to me. There's only one goal that you need to achieve, and that's to get back here. That's it. And at first I thought, well, so what that means is nothing really is that important as a goal, other than the soul knowing who it is as it walks its way back home to where it came from. That is a be me. No identity. So my energy, my God, my life, everything is be me. Bad mind emotions, bad marriage experiences. In the beginning, you're a baby. In the middle, you're middle-aged. In the end, you're elderly. Beginnings manifest endings, manifest beginnings, manifest endings. It just keeps going round and round and round. And that's what the human program does. You're just going around and around and around. So what do we actually get fed up with with being a human being. It's soul destroying, and it's the true analogy of what the human program does. It kills the soul. And everyone inside, whether they know it or not, they are trying to gain freedom from the prison of their own mind that has kept them in prison through the 5 senses.
Mm-hmm.
Bemism, and I'm sure your show is about awakening people from themselves. That is Bemism.
Mm-hmm.
And you get amazing healing abilities, by the way. Just to throw that one in. So anything you think is impossible, I made possible through experiences. So if it says it's impossible, you can't heal, I did. If it's impossible to heal someone, I have. Not once, but many times. And not silly little things. So what I'm saying is, get rid of the human and who are you inside? Because Beam is the structure that's going to get you to actually fully understand that. And then, doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to spend your time and life 100% loving self, loving life, transformation of self, and every step you take, you're walking towards your own death, which there is nothing to be feared of, because spirit is for real. The spirit world is for real. But here's the question. How do you want to go over into the spirit world? That was a big question. So after hating everyone in life, technically, I knew I didn't want to go over into the spirit world with that hatred, because that would also build the consciousness of my spirit world. And therefore, there would be nothing I could do to change what's happening. So that is what's in every soul. It's on a mission and purpose to understand just that alone.
Fantastic. I appreciate you being here so much, Trevor. And, just the viewers won't know this unless I tell them. So I'm going to tell them. I actually reached out to you, Trevor, probably close to 3 years ago. And I was feeling, I thought I was done with the dark night of the soul. Oh, no. It came back. And I reached out to you and you were able to help me. And honestly, within 6 months, I started doing shows. I started having a message of my own, putting it out there. It really helped me so much. Before we go, I know our time is running out really quickly here. Trevor, where can people find your material? Where can they learn more about Bemism? Are you available for personal support? Can you share that with our viewers before we go?
The main channel I'm working on at the moment is the YouTube. I sent you that link, so there's lots of information. Yeah, in the description, lots of information on there. But there's lots of information of how I felt. So I've not, candy coated anything. I've exposed myself on saying how hard this journey is. At the end of each video, of course, there is my email. So if people want to come through to me, just simply send me an email and I shall send them the information to have an hour or 90 minutes on a one-to-one basis. And there's many things that we can talk about, because what the idea is that when people go through this journey, see, one thing they'll always think is this: who's going to help me? Who knows? But what we've got going on here is that the soul in each person actually knows, but it's talking to somebody that actually knows. And so people that come to me thinking they feel embarrassed or maybe they make themselves look silly. No, please, it's nothing to do with that. And whatever mental their journey is or how crazy it sounds, I help them with a simple fact that says, I went through that too. There's nothing crazy about that. And then I explain why. But crazy is only crazy because you don't have the education of it, because you think it's only you that's going through it. But when you speak to a teacher like yourself and they explain what it is, that gives you that aha moment that says, thank God for that. You know, at least there is a process, because that was one of the things I was looking for. I was definitely looking for somebody that knew what I was going through. And of course, I didn't find that. And that's how Bemism got created, because that gave me the answers that I was trying to find. So that meant searching for a being, I basically become the being that I was searching for.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Become the being you're searching for. So that's what it is. So I can help you with understanding the body, the mind, the energy, healing the chakras, even healing the past, retransforming your mind. I've got vocabularies and codes and different structures of being able to put into people, because it's all about empowering people when the human side is broken. So Bemism basically picks up the pieces and helps you to put them pieces back together. Then you can become limitless, like me. I've all this Bemism, empathy, I see beaming, psychic, medium, clairvoyant, healing abilities beyond anyone I know. And it's all available when you get rid of the human. So anyone that's in that process, I know the story inside out. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be scared of. But it is an amazing process. And there is another door to walk through. And that's what I offer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Trevor, for joining us on the Quantum Guide Show. So I guess that's it for today. And I wish you all well. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.
Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Quantum Guide Show. Become the change you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to Karen's YouTube channel, click the like button, and share this show with your friends. Check out Karen's website at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. All the links are available in the description box below. Until the next time, keep up the good work.
Endlessness puts all my inner strife to rest, for time gives birth to hurriedness. It all makes sense, well, more or less, and the sages put me to their test. With heart and soul I'll do my best to find the answers to my quest. I wonder and I must confess, I don't know where it comes from, but I know it's okay. If this is all